We are in Peru, I yelled across the halls in Puerto Maldonado. The spoken language is Spanish. Our guide, Polo, picked us up and took us on a boat to the jungle. When we arrived, Polo told us to put on rubber boots. Why? I asked him. You'll see, he replied. So we put on the boots and went to walk. That second, I realized why we needed rubber boots. There was mud everywhere. We stopped at the office to sign up and go to our cottage. The walk was 3 kilometers to get to a boat that flows on a lake called Sandoval to our cottage. I couldn't believe we had to walk 3 kilometers, 3,000 meters, on 1 meter of mud in height, and about in 100 degrees. Help! Help! I was stuck in mud while I was all in sweat. This happened at least 3 times before the other boat. It took us a while to row the boat on Sandoval. We swayed back and forth, and we were bored. There was a funky smell of a bird, Nakin, that can only be eaten by red holler monkey. The red holler monkeys live on tall trees, about 30 meters high. They chirp like a frog. Sometimes it is very hard to tell one from another. There are 3 main kinds of trees. One of the trees has poisonous needles that are black. The tree is covered all in the needles that are black, that if you touch it, you can get a really high fever. Another kind is a tree that you can't hug. They are humongous, about 2 to 3 feet from the inside wide. The last one is only one tree, the walking pine tree. This is my favorite tree. Whenever a new root grows, it grows with the others like feet. The new root stands out because of its color. It has a light brown color while the other ones are white. Every 2 years it moves 2 feet toward the sunlight. There is about 1.5 million of these trees in the jungle, as well as a few other species. In one tree, we saw a bumblebee-colored striped snake. It was looking for something to eat. Ah! I screamed when I saw a tarantula. I saw 3. Paulo said that they were chicken tarantulas. We were all so scared that we decided to go to bed. First thing in the morning, Paulo got out his sword and cut open a coconut. It took him 3 strikes. We found out that there were 25 regular nuts. As soon as Ven and my brother and I saw the nuts, we ran like you would in a marathon. They were so tasty that we could eat 10 nuts. After this fun stuff, at 6:30 p.m., we went looking for caimans, alligators, on a boat. When you shine a flashlight into their eyes, it shines bright like when the sun shines. You can see the circles, the eyes of the caimans. The circles, every time you look in the sun, you can always see like little circles coming down. That represents the eyes of a caiman. Like I said, near the end, when it was dark, we saw a 3-meter caiman pop up right next to our boat. It was gray and green. His teeth were about 2 inches, and they were so white. We got scared again that we decided to call it a day. The first half of the day, we walked out of the jungle on the mud and farewelled Paulo, and we went back to the airport. long, extremely long. Sadly, they moved the flight 2 hours earlier, so we only had 30 minutes to do everything. Arequipa, my dad said. What? I asked. My sister, Rebecca, told me how to sound it out. A-re-ki-pa. It was 8:30 when our plane from the company LAN dropped us off. We were so tired that we decided just to eat dinner near our hotel and then straight to bed. The restaurant turned out to be the best potato place in Peru. We each ordered a yellow and gray potato. In Spanish, potato is papa. When our food came, it looked like one of the Great Pyramids, but a plate size, and made out of papas. Everyone had a yellow and gray papa. 1 hour of chomping our papas down our throat, we were already closing our eyes. Bright and early, we got up and went to our buffet 1 floor away. I could hear the knives and forks cluttering, trying to cut the scrambled eggs. I could hear the spoons hitting the teacups for stirring the tea, and the smell of all the different fruits, cereals, jams, bread, and beverages made my brain ready to have a nice big breakfast. But I just ate an apple, a banana, bread, and jam. We walked 1 hour before our mom, Yulia, got a really, really bad headache. We let her rest while my dad, sister, and brother and I played a game called Wizard. We played this on the roof of the hotel building with a field of cows and the main church right behind our backs. We played this for 1.5 hours before we decided to go and buy lunch for everyone while my mom was in bed. We bought chicken, potatoes, and juice, and a bit of water. By the time we got home, my mom's headache was over, just like brand new. And we ate and drank every bit of everything before nothing was left. We decided to stroll around town before dark, so we went to see the oldest building, monastery of San Catalin. It was very beautiful and old-looking. The narrow streets were filled with cars giving out gasoline to the air. We had to smell this, but it was worth it. We saw that the Inks and Indian tribes' wall got broken down by the Spanish, so you could see the rocks that the Inks spilled on the bottom, and then like broken stuff, and then you can see the perfect white buildings on top from Spanish. So you would see the lower half with the rocks and the Inks, and the top half was the Spanish, like I said. Exactly. Finally, we reached the restaurant that I hated, in my opinion. The food, in my opinion, was horrible. Everyone else loved the food. I just fell asleep in my plate. Our plane at 10 a.m., so we could stop at Cusco and go to Machu Picchu. We arrived in Cusco, and then right away we went to Sacred Valley. On the way, we stopped to pet llamas and alpacas. There was 6 different species, but we don't remember them. So we finished our way and stopped at a hotel for the night. In the morning, we were getting ready for Machu Picchu. We packed our stuff and went for lunch. The lunch place we ate was empty, and we ordered food and never had time to go around Sacred Valley. But instead, we just went on an earlier train to Machu Picchu. It was dark when we got there. We ordered our hotel and rested. In the morning, 6 a.m., we went to the line for a bus that goes up a mountain to Machu Picchu City. We met a guide there and asked him to show us around. We started off at the place where the Inks played games and to look at their city. Every part was more interesting than the one before. We stopped at the entrance that led to the garden with the rarest plants in Peru. Next door was a three-window symbol that when the sun shines, the shadows make the symbols of the Inks. After, we went to the entrance to Huayna Picchu. Huayna stands for new, Machu stands for old. Huayna Picchu City, New Picchu City, Huayna Mountain, New Mountain. Machu Picchu City, Old Picchu City, Machu Picchu Mountain, Old Picchu Mountain, which is next door. Our footsteps were loud, louder than the rest of the people there. This was our favorite place. There were 2 holes with water. They were used as a mirror. One would show the constellations, and the other would show the moon phases. We strolled past the houses they lived in and left. We ate at the entrance and decided to look everywhere one last time before we went down the Machu Picchu mountain for 1.5 hours. Every step we could hear the river at the bottom going louder and louder as we stepped down and down each Inks-built steps. Finally, we reached our destination and slowly made our ways back to Atlanta. The end.